Hey guys, in this video I'm gonna take you racing in Thailand with my GoPro camera at the biggest race I've ever done in my life with 350 riders, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's actually also the most beautiful enduro race I've ever done in my life. And as you can see here, there's also some struggles along the way and some teamwork, because some of the sections were really difficult to do alone, and in some cases there were some surprises that made it impossible to cross some rivers, so we improvised. So all that you will see in this video, and a lot of tips as well on the way, and beautiful river crossings like you see here. And this is what the jungle looks like in Krabi, Thailand. So if you ever visit, check out my contact information in the description, and we might be able to ride together.
Hello Thailand!
Hey! So today is race day, and we're here at the resort. We are staying right there, and the CRF 300 is behind that truck there. And look at the view here. There's a huge, nice mountain. Look at the blue sky as well. There's some blue sky, so that looks like we might get lucky today with the weather. So we can have a dry race, maybe with minimal mud, maybe perfect traction. Let's go and find out. So by the way, this race is very fun for me because it's very low pressure compared to the last race, which was the FIM Asia Motocross Championship. That was pretty high pressure, but I got the job done. I won that one, as you maybe know if you follow my channel. Okay, so we got to the race area now, and now I'm just gonna check the tire pressure. I'm just gonna put my boots on before I put the bike to back for me, because it's so muddy. I can't even probably walk in flip-flops around here. Actually, it was crazy. We almost couldn't get our truck into the parking area, like to the tents, because it was so muddy. But luckily there was a friendly guy that helped me push the truck while I was gassing it. 401, that's my race number. And now we're gonna go over to Park for me with the bike. And actually the rider to the left I coached leading into the race, he's a beginner and he finished mid-pack, so that's pretty cool. And if you want to get coached by me, you can do it either in person or online. If you just send me some video footage, I can review it and give you a plan for what to work on next with your riding technique based on your current level. And I also got a decent skill level in enduro racing, and my best race result was a 3rd place in one of the rounds of the Thailand Enduro Championship. Now we're getting some breakfast. The usual race breakfast is always boiled rice with about 3 eggs and then very little oil. That's important. If you eat too oily before race, it's not going to digest well, and it might even come up again if you struggle. And now it's 9 o'clock. It's actually 9:16. So we're going to be lining up for the race in about 45 minutes. So after I'm done eating this, I'll prepare my hydration pack. So now we're out for a rider briefing. And look at all the riders around here. Just have a look around.
โอเคเราจบการแข่งขันกลับบ้านได้ชมด้วยกันนะครับของสสนะครับสสที่เราได้ตั้งมั่นก่อกิจนะครับต้องขอขอบคุณไว้ในโอกาสนี้ด้วยนะครับนักเรียนเรียนดีแต่ขาดทุนทรัพย์นะครับ
Just open all the bottles first. Another Gatorade. And then 1.5 liters of water. And then we top up with coconut water. Okay, done. So now I'm gearing up for the race, and I already drink a lot of water, eat some good food, and the weather is looking pretty good, so I'm excited. The only thing that's gonna be wild is the race start. It's gonna be 5 riders being sent out every 10 seconds. So it's gonna be really wild. It's gonna be like similar to motocross, but still a lot easier, I would say. Than starting with 20 riders in motocross. 5 is a lot easier. So let's just go out and have some fun and enjoy the trails. I can see people are starting to walk over to the bikes, so I'm just gonna wish my buddies good luck. Good luck, Mr. Hen. Come. Good luck, man. Yeah, you too.
Just finished. Just finished.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay.
Right there. Yeah. So maybe you can just stay around here. Good luck, man. Good luck, man. Good luck. Okay, welcome on board, and here we go. The race has begun, and you will be riding along on my GoPro. And I'm going to be giving a lot of tips along the way. And as you can see in the beginning, I got squeezed a bit by some people that was parked in the middle of the starting line. But no stress, you know, enduro is a long game. So look, people that are pushing too hard to go fast in the beginning, they maybe crash, because you need to spend a little bit of time figuring out exactly how slippery it is. And it was actually quite slippery here in the beginning. Even getting up this little hill, we were spinning the wheels a lot. And then there was a traffic jam already 1 minute into the race because of these logs here. So I just took my time to find a good place to get across, and there we go, I got over. And then it was all about catching these guys, and I waited for the right time when he seemed to be in control of the bike to make the pass, as you should do, you know. It's very different than motocross, because in motocross the start is super important and often determines a lot of the race results. But in enduro, you could say it like this: you cannot win the race in the race start, but you can definitely lose it. If you go too hard in the first, let's say, first 1 or 2 minutes, and you crash and you get injured or you damage your bike so it doesn't work anymore, well, then you might have lost the race. So I recommend you to just ease your way into the pace, and then as soon as you got a good feel for the traction, of course you just build up the pace to your preferred 90% race pace, but also think about conserving your energy. Okay, and then about 10-15 minutes into the race, there was a big problem in the race, and that was that one of the bridges for the river crossings had broken, and this river had so steep embankments that you couldn't cross it, like just ride through the water and cross it. So everybody was stuck, nobody could really cross. But then after roughly 10 minutes, some of the riders started improvising and trying to find another place to cross. And I think all the riders that were stuck here at this bridge that was broken, they probably knew already they were not gonna get on the podium, because probably a small group of riders already crossed the bridge before it broke, and they are of course just gonna win the race or get on the podium pretty easily, compared to the rest of us that got stuck. And look here, in a couple of seconds we'll find another bridge to cross the river. This one, it's made of concrete, so this bridge they should have probably used instead, because it was a concrete bridge, and that of course wouldn't break, so that would have made it a more fair competition for all the other riders. But luckily I just went here for fun, so the race result didn't really matter to me. I was just really happy to be out on these beautiful trails and have some fun. So yeah, here we're back on the track, the racetrack, because we could see a lot of tire marks on this section, and that was a good feeling. Whoa, that guy almost went down again. So I just took a dry line. Always look for the dry lines, and often the dry lines are not the main lines that are obvious. Sometimes it can pay off to just look for a slightly different line, which I'm gonna do right here. Look, so here was a mud hole, and then a steep embankment on the other side. And you could see people, they were really struggling to get up there. So here's a really good tip for enduro racing. That is, every time there's a mud hole where you can't see through the water, you never know how deep it is around different lines. So I recommend simply walking into it and getting your boots wet, like feeling out how deep it is, and then you just look for the most shallow place to cross, meaning where there's no deep holes that you can't see. And then you walk the line, and look, I also showed that guy here which line to take, and then he was kind enough to actually let me go first. And then from here on, you have to aim the bike very carefully and then build the momentum to get over. It's more important to build the momentum than to make sure that you hit it perfect, I would say, because momentum will get you up. So I got bumped around a bit, so I lost balance and tipped over, but it was a gentle fall on his bike, so nothing was damaged or nobody injured. And then I just picked it up and then walked on the other side and then could ride it gently on the clutch, because the rear wheel got all the way up actually. And look, so I passed these 4 riders simply by using this riding tip, which is to inspect mud holes by feet. And as you can see, I just proved that it paid off, because I passed 4 riders that probably didn't inspect it by feet. And then I was up on a nice single trail here, having a good old time. And then we will see what happens next. Let me see if I remember. Oh, here? Yeah, it was hard to see sometimes the markers. They put these white plastic markers around the trees there you see on the right. So what I'm doing in this video is I'm showing you all the highlights and the coolest sections from the race. And then I give you my best tips and strategies for how to handle those sections. And about 80% of the race were just easy wide dirt roads. And then maybe 15% was challenging single trails and river crossings and riding through rocks and stuff. And then the last 5% were like crazy mud holes, like this one right here. Actually, I don't think they should put mud holes like this in a race, because there's a real chance that the bikes can get like deep stuck in the mud and then they can't pass through it, especially if it has been raining a lot, you know, it would be a lot deeper. But anyway, so I inspect the mud hole here and I decide to ride up there because there's the least ruts on the other side, so like it looks like a good drive, and it didn't seem too deep, but I was about to change my opinion on that. As you will see here, when I tried to drive over in the mud, the front wheel, it got bumped around by some of the branches, I think, and got into a hole. So I recommend you not to go through any branches if possible. However, there are some cases which I'll show you later in the video where I recommend you to go through the plants if it's on a high ground, so it avoids getting into the lower, more slippery, deep mud stuff. And when you're stuck, it's good to take your time a bit and have a look around and find a better line. So here I'm cutting across diagonally and just keep gassing it until I got stuck. But then the timing was perfect, because then this guy here arrived. So now you will see a good example of teamwork. And you can always teamwork. When one guy gets in trouble, then you help him and he helps you.
Okay, I help you. You help me, okay? Yeah.
So for the next few minutes, I'm just gonna let the audio run from the camera with the teamwork clip here, so you can just hear what's going on with the original sound.
Oh, I'll come down and help you with the rear wheel. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, yes. Okay. And pull here. 1, 2, 3, yes. Okay. Put here, I tell you. Okay, I have a rope here. Look, my friend, you help pull the rope. Oh. Okay.
And now a third guy also arrived, and he was also on a Honda CRF 300L like me. And that bike is not good for riding through mud because it's very heavy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work its way through mud that well. Also because it has a low-hanging engine, so it doesn't have much clearance beneath it, which also makes it easy to get stuck in ruts if they're deep ruts. So that will actually happen later, which you will see in this video as well.
If you stay in here, like stay here and then pull this way.
Okay. When you ready, you tell
Yeah.
me.
Okay. Thank you.
Help him.
Yeah. Start. Okay.
And him too.
Yeah.
4 ทีมโดนแล้วเฮ้ยโดนมาเลย
Hey.
Very good.
Nice. Okay. High five. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ Teamwork. Good job.
Alright, so we got done with this section, and this was a really good example of how you can benefit from working together as a team in enduro when sections are really difficult. And now I have a really good tip for you. You know, I'm gonna keep trying to give you tips throughout this video, and this one is every time you have been struggling and working very physically hard on an enduro section, you have to hydrate a lot afterwards. So for example, in this case, instead of trying to go really fast and try to make up for the lost time, then I just lower my pace a little bit, and then I make sure I keep drinking while I'm riding with my hydration pack. And if you're really worn out, maybe you should have like a gel or a snack or something, because your body lost a lot of fluids because you're sweating a lot when you're working physically, you know. So you have to rehydrate to make up for that fluid loss. So that's a really important tip that can make you able to keep going and not burn out. And this tip is also similar to the tip about conserving your energy, but this is more about how to re-energize yourself during the trip. Because remember, the electrolyte drink that you have in your hydration pack, it also has sugars in it, carbohydrates, which gives you energy to continue performing at your best. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I have done a 6-hour hard enduro race, which is extremely tough. Like, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. But anyways, look here, now I got stuck in a rut here because of the CRF 300L. It has a low-hanging wide engine, so it just gets stuck in the rut. So here I try to wheelie it up and see if I can wheelie out of it, but the rut is just so deep, and there's a bump as well, I think, so it can't move forward. And look how deep it is here. Looks like the rear wheel is completely buried in there. So I decided to just lift the rear up. That was extremely heavy. I just put my forearms underneath, and I still have actually some scars on my forearms from, I think, the exhaust lifting it out there. So we got it up here, and it took about 3 minutes of getting out of this. So that was a good lesson. And then there was some really steep uphills here. But whenever you have like steep uphills, stay in the rut if it's not too deep, because you have more traction around all the tire knobbies. And then just try to sit as heavy as you can on the rear part of the seat to get as much weight on the rear as possible, and then you can usually generate a drive. Just be ready with the finger on the clutch if it starts wheeling, so you can cancel out the wheelie with the clutch. Alright, and here I reached the checkpoint where they're gonna note that I've passed checkpoint 1 and then give me a little tick mark on my sticker. And then I think they also put it on the paperwork. And then, nice easy section. Again, I continue hydrating and drinking on the easy sections. Maybe I'll drink at least half a liter, I think, until I start to feel full from the liquids. And then I'll start to get my heart rate down and then build up the pace again. And here's some single trails, which is like really fun. And soon after this, we're gonna make our way up onto the mountaintop, which is really awesome because the view is just amazing up there. I took a few seconds just to enjoy looking at the views, but you know, you can't look too much because then you're gonna lose track of where you're going. Oh, I remember this section. This was steep. But it's like just as steep, so it's on the limit of what's possible. So if you make any small mistakes, you have to go down again and try again. And so here I had to go over to the side and realign my bike a bit. Spend some time on realigning the bike is sometimes a good idea, so you can make it up a difficult section instead of trying to keep going. Because sometimes when you have a lot of difficult sections in a row, you may want to benefit from stopping on some of the flat areas between and realigning the bike to get a better drive up the next section. But of course, the generally correct approach to get up all hills is to prioritize momentum and keeping the momentum up, like cruise control with the throttle. And then the second most important is always looking for the best line and keeping it on the right line, the best line. And then only in some cases it can be a good idea to stop and realign the bike. And again, here was another tricky uphill, and there was actually a big rut I went through there, but it was widened, so it had like kind of a big V cut, so it was pretty wide on top, so I took the chance and made it through that one. And then here it's just all steady throttle and like cruise control. And I used first gear because then there's less risk that I have to start using the clutch, because when you start using the clutch, unless you're extremely good at it, there's a chance that you're gonna start wheeling or wheel spinning or just be less consistent with your RPMs and your power delivery. Okay, and here we make it to checkpoint 2, and I get a check mark on my sticker and then back on the gas. And now we're making it up towards the mountaintop, and we're gonna soon get to one of the really good viewpoints. And I'm actually looking forward to see the good views here on the camera footage, because I didn't have much time to enjoy it while on the bike, as you can probably imagine.
So it's nice to be up in the mountains. Then at least I know there's not going to be any rivers I have to go through. Oh, so they go on the left.
Alright, so this is also a great learning experience, because this is kind of it's not exactly a river, it's more like I would say a ditch or like kind of a swamp. And then when you're riding through something like this, it's all about looking for alternative lines where you can always try to stay on the high ground. So if we do a replay of the same section here, look, so I'm cutting away from the main line that's like deep and watery, and then up onto some higher area, like higher ground where there's less wet, more plants of course, but it keeps you out of the really sticky muddy stuff where you could see that other guy was stuck.
So that guy that got stuck, I wanted to help him, but he's gonna have to find somebody who also gets stuck, and then they collaborate.
And next up, there's another section here that I wanted to show you guys that I remembered very well, and there was a lot of mud and stuff. And you will see some guys that just are completely exhausted on the hill here on the main line, and they got stuck in those muddy ruts. It's really slippery clay. So instead I'm looking for an alternative line, so I spend a bit of time finding another way up. You can see here I avoid a big hole on the left, and then just doing a little bit of improvising and keeping the momentum. And then I found an easy way up, easy peasy. So instead of just racing always on the main line, sometimes when it looks really tricky, look for alternative lines, stop and spend a few seconds, maybe 10 seconds, sometimes 5 seconds is enough to find a better line.
I'm gonna take a good look at this, because
yeah, so here I arrived at the next mud hole with sort of a wall I had to get over on the other side. So with enough momentum it should be doable. So I'm considering, should I take the main line or shift to the left a bit? So let's see what the other guys here are doing, and if they make it up. So here you see this guy, he got in trouble and he didn't have enough momentum to make it up, so I'm just gonna run and help
I'll help
him.
you, man. Hey man, let me help you. And if I get in trouble, you help me, okay? Okay, man. Thank you. Can you wait for me and see if I make it?
I wait for you.
Yeah, thank you. I have to change my gloves as well.
That is great. Where are you from?
Denmark.
Denmark. That's tough.
Yeah, those river crossings, they are very tough, man.
Maybe you try the other way?
I'll try this way.
This way,
Same as you, yeah, it's much better.
Yeah.
Because now there's a big hole.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Focus, focus, focus. This way. Yeah, man.
Good. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Even though I didn't need your help, but you helped me show the way. This way. Oh, sorry.
So now I'm putting on some new dry gloves. I brought extra 2 sets of gloves in a plastic bag in one of my pouches on my belt, so that it's quick to replace it. And you have no idea how good it is to change from wet muddy gloves to dry gloves. And this has nothing to do with comfort, by the way. It's all about energy management, because when the gloves are wet, you have to grip at least twice as hard on the grips to hang on to the bike. But if you have dry gloves and dry grips, you can grip very loosely on the grips and still have a good grip on the handlebars. So it's all about energy efficiency, actually. And also bring a bottle of water in my belt to wash the grips if necessary, and then I bring also dry rags in the plastic bag inside my pouch, so I could dry the grips if necessary, but it wasn't necessary this time. And I also bring an extra set of goggles in case they get too wet, and my current goggles, they also have tear-offs on, so I can clear my vision. I actually did that once. If you get splashed by another rider in front of you, you know, it's really nice to be able to clear your vision. Because obviously it's always a bad idea to ride without goggles, because you put your eyes in jeopardy. If you get roosted in the eyes, you can, well, basically get some bad injuries to your eyes. Or if you get hit by a branch or something, you know, you don't want to run that risk, right? Unless you're riding in open sections alone and without any branches or anything, or really slow sections, you can remove the goggles temporarily, but otherwise I recommend you to keep them on. Okay, and now I arrived to one of the very steep uphill sections. It wasn't that long, but it was really steep. I don't know if you can see it here, something like 45 degrees. And I was thinking about what line to pick, and then I went for this line. And got a bit squirrely, but kept the momentum up. Had to do a little bit of clutch work because it started wheeling, but we got it done. Okay, and on this next section I will just show you how slow I want to go when it's down a steep hill. This is really steep. I don't know if you can see that, but it's probably more than 45 degrees right here. So just don't be in race mode when you go down really steep stuff. Just really use the speed that gives you the optimal safety and least chance of error. And now we're working our way up to the mountaintop, I think, where we're gonna have the most beautiful views of the trip. So that should be soon. And I really like these steep uphill sections with single trails and turns all the time. Okay, now we made it up on the mountaintop area, where you can see it's kind of opened up and there's start to be some nice views. Yeah, so here you can start to see the mountains on the horizon, and there'll be more like that. And also I will start to encounter some more rider traffic soon, which was fun, because actually most of the race I was just riding alone, passing some guys here and there. but I guess the riders, they were really spread out after that bridge that broke in the beginning, you know, and then I probably, I guess, sprinted away from the waiting group that crossed that bridge late, that broke in the beginning. And I think at this point in the race, we are over halfway through the race, and we're gonna encounter a big river. Oh, there's another guy coming here. Actually, I let this guy pass me on purpose, by the way, because it's actually a benefit if you have a rider that's riding the same speed as you. He had been behind me for a long time, by the way. I could hear him. So I guess he was a skilled rider, similar level as me. But that's a benefit, because if you want to ride in front, it's not like I'm losing time in my result if he's riding the same speed as me. But if he makes a mistake somewhere on a tricky section, then I will learn from his mistake, and then I can avoid making that mistake and take another line than he took. So there is a benefit of having a fast rider in front of you that's similar speed as you. I think I'll pass him again later on with a bunch of other guys, but that's just a little strategy you can keep in mind. It's not like in motocross where you get awarded in the results list from positions necessarily. In enduro, if it's a time-based race, which it usually is. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to always pass everybody. And soon we'll arrive to checkpoint 3. And if I remember correctly, there are total 5 checkpoints. And after this checkpoint, as you will see, I'll pass a bunch of riders. And then I'll get to a steep downhill section that is so steep I have to get off the bike and basically slide the bike down on the side. And that's also a technique you should learn in enduro. And here you can see the riders are taking an alternative line down around the right side. Instead of taking that steep edge, I guess there's on the left, steep edge into some mud and rocks, which I guess had caused some previous riders problems. And then here we are waiting for people to get through this section. And if there's only one line available, it's a really good idea here, like, to keep distance to the rider in front of you, so that you can build momentum, so you can easier get through the section wherever he's stuck, instead of just being wheel to wheel all the time. Then you will all encounter the same issues. Anyways, here I'll start to pass the guys, because they're just at a really comfortable cruising speed, I would say. So I do like to cruise a little bit faster, I guess. And again, I'm not in a big hurry to pass riders, so I just wait for a good time where it feels safe and not too annoying to the other people as well. Because at this point, I'm not gonna be battling for a podium place because of all the issues earlier in the race. So I'm just enjoying the ride and not putting people at any unnecessary risk of squeezing past really close or something like that. So anyways, here I got past, and now it's time to have some fun. And this is actually towards the end of the video, so if you have made it so far, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, because I do share a lot of videos about riding technique, strategy, and also lifestyle and stuff like that. I also have another YouTube channel, by the way, called Better Habits with Toby. You can read about that in the description. There's some links also to my online courses and stuff, where I share specific knowledge for training and also overtraining, hydration and dieting and stuff like that. Anyways, now we're arriving to that steep downhill section where I have to get off the bike. And as you will see here, it's a very short section, but it's so steep. It has like a vertical drop off where I think if I tried to ride down it, I would probably like endo and roll over the front and tumble with maybe the bike landing on top of me. So if you ever encounter something like that, you can just lean the bike down on the side, and then you walk next to the bike and just like kind of slide it down, leave it in first gear so the rear is locked up as a rear brake, and then you can use the clutch to gently allow it to roll, like you by pushing the clutch in, it will like let the rear wheel roll, and then you can basically use the clutch as a rear brake when the engine is off, right? And then we are actually working our way towards the finish line. This is a really fun section. I remember this, like pretty steep uphill, not too difficult, but just like carrying the momentum and being on the gas. And after this, my helmet camera turned off, so I didn't get to record these cool river sections. And we were also riding through some jungle waterfalls and stuff. But anyways, so I finished the race here. You can see this is right near the finish line area, and I'll cross the finish line here. Okay, so done now. I'm so happy I made it. This was tough. There was a lot of river crossings where it was almost impossible to do it without helping each other. So it was one of those races where you have to collaborate, which was pretty cool, but very surprising how tough it was. But apart from the river crossings, I did really well, like really fun track, amazing, the most beautiful enduro I've ever done. And here's my time and scoring. It's 1 hour 59. So that's pretty good. That's like super easy compared to what I did last time when I did the hard enduro. Man, look at this beautiful area here. So this is the finish line right over here. So I just went over to double check the results, just to make sure I didn't need to go to the podium in case there was an adjustment in the results. So people are looking here for results.
Hello, Thailand!
Hey! Thank you. That wasn't planned, but anyways, it's the most beautiful enduro I've ever done, and really lucky it didn't rain. And look at this amazing area where we've been riding. So overall, very happy, fun event. See you on the next one. I want to say thank you to Rev100 Decals. You can follow them on Instagram or get a discount by using the link and the discount code in the description. And if you want to get better at riding, check out Fast Club by joining the YouTube channel. If you want to get fitter while being on a holiday, check out fitcamp5.com. And if you like to train motocross in Thailand, check out motocrossbooking.com with the slogan, dreams are meant to come true. So if you dream about becoming a better motocross rider, check those things out.